Hi there, my name's Moira MacDonald. You may know me, I hope you do, and that you're not just somebody randomly watching the video. Although there's a good chance you will be, because I'm going to cover a couple of topics that I think are pretty significant to the majority of folk that make YouTube videos. I did a video in the past, not that long ago, about basically being depressed. Because I've been depressed for years, and there was a variety of issues, one of which was Etsy, the online seller, changing policies in relation to free postage, and effectively promoting people that do that. And if it just wasn't viable financially for me to do that, because I don't make that much. In terms of actually physically making that much, but not only do I not make that much, I don't charge that much where I could hide cost of shipping in my prices. So anyway, that aside, I dealt with that. I made the effort to open another online shop. I used a British firm, in fact a Scottish firm, and it didn't quite work out. Because what I hadn't realised when I started was that they did not change any information in terms of prices into dollars, be it Australian, American, whatever. They just left everything as British information. So of course folk trying to buy my stuff in America were like, oh, how much, what does that cost? Oh, can't possibly work that out, can work the internet, can do everything else, but I can't work out what you're charging. Not that it was that difficult, because let's face it, all you need to do is Google it and you get a figure, and it's, you know, maybe not 100% accurate, but it's close enough to what you want. But anyway, so that was the first issue, and I thought, well, this is kind of went pear-shaped, what is the point in this? So I shut that. Sold something through eBay in terms of an auction, and at least eBay works quite similarly to Etsy in as far as it gives you prices in other countries, so that made that a wee bit easier. But of course then there's that whole bracket of people that don't really like to use eBay, which is fair enough. So again, we're back to another issue. So ultimately I've ended up that I have sold the last couple of things I did on Etsy again. But what I've decided is I'm not going to swamp Etsy with my stuff, because there really isn't any point. All it does is costs me money. So, money. Money is a big thing for all of us. And it is one of the reasons that the poopsie has hit the fan again recently. Not with me, although initially it was a kind of sort of reaction I did. But my reaction has been nothing compared to some folk. There was, I'm fairly confident you'll be aware, some change, or not so much change, but an enactment of legislation in relation to child online protection. This came from, I believe, the Federal Trade Commission, American, right? Where it came from doesn't matter, the fact is law is law, and that is that. And the whole thing is, it's there to ensure children are kept safe. And that's fair enough, I have absolutely no issue with that whatsoever. However, when the initial video from YouTube came out, it was clearly seen by people who went into what could only be considered hysteria. I mean, talk about fake news running wild. This was it. People were literally, you know, ready to jump off bridges because they were so concerned about this, because it was going to impact their channel. And it wasn't so much that it was going to impact their channel, it was going to impact their advertising revenue. Because they're all monetised channels. It was the monetised channels that really started it. And I'm not talking about crafters here, I am talking about channels who, let me see, channels who make videos about videos. Folk who make a living from telling you how to promote yourself in one way or another, be it either on YouTube or Facebook or Instagram or whatever. It's basically channels within channels. Channels who clearly function for no other reason other than just self-promotion, and consequently they were they adopted this like a newborn child, and they lovingly turned it into a dragon, for want of a better word, because they had other people absolutely terrified that they were going to lose their channels because it was feasible that children might inadvertently watch them. Oh dear God, what are we going to do if the children watch? Where do you start? Right, my channel, wee craft channel, really wee craft channel, not aimed at kids, aimed at women ages with myself. And when you look at your analytics, if you look at your YouTube analytics on your YouTube studio, I'm hitting my demographic. I'm not attracting anybody other than old folk. And I don't mean old folk as in you're a shower of old dinosaurs. No, no. I mean folk at ages with me that have similar likes. That was what I was aimed at, and that's who I was hitting. And I'm fairly confident that the other crafters, or paper crafters in particular, who have channels similar to mine, were hitting the same demographic. But some of them were really terrified, absolutely terrified, to the point where a few of them have deleted their videos, stopped making videos. And so what gets me is the original hoo-ha all started because these people, what the upshot of it is if you were making a video and it was attracting children and you were getting advertising revenue from that, it was leaving cookies on the machine that the child was using, and that's illegal. So what was then going to happen was, if you were found to be doing this, or if you were wrongly saying that your channel was aimed at adults or was aimed at children and it wasn't, again this meant that it was cutting off your cutting off your comments in your videos. And that in itself was meaning that if you weren't getting comments on your videos, there was more than a 50-50 chance your channel would not grow. And then it was down to, is your channel financially viable, because YouTube might decide it's not and get rid of it. And it just went on and on and on, and it was all unnecessary. I can understand what the law was aiming at. I appreciate that the initial wording of everything was fairly vague, but at no point was this aimed at paper crafters, although ultimately paper crafters became embroiled in it. But it was only certain paper crafters, because if you look, I initially started out making cards, and if you look at the big names that were making card videos, none of them were worrying, none of them were saying anything, because they weren't stupid. They had not irrationally watched all these other silly videos about, oh dear God, you're going to lose your channel. No, they weren't, because that just wasn't going to happen. Bottom line is, you make your video as it is, you click your wee button saying that it's aimed at older folk or people over the age of 13, and everything moves along just as it always did. But that brings me to another wee point. Monetisation. The monetisation of YouTube has, certainly for me, been the complete and utter death of things. I had been growing a wee channel, and the introduction of monetisation has effectively done me no favours. I have never really, I've had one payment. I've been monetised for probably over a year, and I have had one payment in relation to that, because I just don't get views. So while I was at one point growing quite healthy, I no longer am. Why am I not growing? I'm doing exactly the same thing as I always did. I'm making the same videos. And the bottom line is, there are some people who are more successful than me, and they consequently get shown more than me, and they consequently get recommended more than me. So effectively I do stagnate, and that was one of the issues in the original Why Am I Depressed video. So that's not changed one little bit. I am still stagnating. I am lucky if my videos get 250 views. and that's after a period of time. I did a video the other day, and it was a wee crafting tutorial, and I think it's currently sitting at less than 100 views. It'll grow over 100, but it's not going to get into the realms of generating an income. And as a matter of interest, I had a look at some of the income, because it tells you your income for each video, and there was actually one of my videos I got 6 cents from. So in terms of actual, changing that into British money, that's probably lucky if I get 5 pence. So that sums up monetisation, the monetisation experience for me. I mean, don't get me wrong, there are some folk that are clearly coining it in, and that takes me back to the original issue as regards this COPPA and the videos that went about. I did watch a couple of them, and then I reached the stage where I thought, this is utter piffle, I'm doing no more. And the main reason I was doing no more was they were well into the thousands, so they were generating a really good healthy income from this, and effectively all they were doing was misinforming. So they were earning money, advertising revenue from misinforming people, and I fell into that trap initially. But I thought, I don't care, because who are these people? I don't know these people. I have absolutely no reason to believe that they have a finger in the pulse, as opposed to my finger in the pulse. I know as much as they know. See, the bottom line, when you want to find out information on something, especially when it's YouTube that's doing it, watch a YouTube video on it, YouTube made by YouTube, and from there, if you're that interested, Google the actual FTC and look at the legislation. Don't start watching other folks' videos about it, because 9 times out of 10 they have no idea. All they're doing is, I'm going to fire out another video here and earn some money. And the thing is, they obviously have all earned quite a bit if you look at the number of views they've had in relation to this. And they're not telling you anything, telling you absolutely nothing that you can't find out for yourself. Over and above that, see if I see one more thumbnail of somebody going, ah! Driving me nuts, absolutely driving me nuts, because it's like shock jock stuff, do you know what I mean? It's like, let's tantalise you, and I'll be doing it with this, don't get me wrong, but I have decided I am no longer indulged in monetisation. So my title will encourage you to watch this, but I'm not doing it for any devious reason. I'm not making any money from it. I am doing it merely to tell you, please, please, please start thinking logically about what you do in relation to your channel. Don't be terrified into doing something that is unnecessary simply because someone else is promoting an irrational fear. One of my pals said to me yesterday, I've hardly seen any videos for some folk recently, and this is probably why it's happening, because some folk are absolutely terrified to make anything for fear that they're going to be somebody's going to come at their door and fine them. It was some really illogical amount of money, $43,523 or something really bizarre. That's the maximum you could be fined. I think it's highly unlikely any crafters, particularly paper crafters, are going to be fined anything. I mean, if you're if you're using really ropey stuff to do your videos, you're using like Disney images or whatever, well, you're dabbling in another thing. See, when you know you're acting morally with what you're doing with your channel, you've not got anything to fear, absolutely nothing to fear. I don't think it's unreasonable to protect children, and I think YouTube should have probably been doing stuff a lot sooner, but is it really coincidental that the Disney Channel started streaming just at the same time as the Poopsie hit the fan on this one? I doubt it. I think it's been a case of, I mean, again, I think the whole COPPA thing was aimed at channels on YouTube that are children channels. Folk that dress up as Elsa for Frozen, who sit and tell you about a video game or something like that. that's immoral. If you're sitting on a pile of children's pocket money to make your living, that's not nice. You know, get a job, get a real job, and grow up. And anyway, that's just my view on it. And I really didn't want to make this video. See the number of times I've heard that. I didn't really want to make this video, but I've been pretty annoyed about all this because it's just been so silly, so silly. So there you go. I'm going to continue to make my wee bits and bobs. No longer going to take cash. If my channel ultimately disappears, so be it. The world isn't going to end. I have never lived on it financially, so what difference is it going to make? It'll just be another change, and I'll deal with it. I think that's it. I think I've covered everything I really wanted to say. I will undoubtedly have thousands of views on this because it's going to hit something more than just crafting, and that's fair enough. Generally speaking, folk are quite reasonable and quite nice to you, and some folk not so much. I ignore them. So, you know, sticks and stones will break my bones, and silly comments get reported to Google, and some that don't get reported to Google, you just sit and think, Jesus Christ, have you no life? Because that's... some folk are beyond you. Anyway, that's it. Thanks very much for watching. If you've stuck with us the whole way through, please feel free to subscribe to my channel if you're remotely interested in actual videos about paper crafting, because that's all I do normally. That and grading, and I don't grade that often, but when I do, it's a good one. Anyway, that's me. Thanks very much for your time. I'll see you all when I see you. Bye.